August 29, 1944. A German artillery officer stares at his morning report in complete disbelief. The numbers are impossible. 82% of their V-1 flying bombs were shot down yesterday. Not by fighter planes, not by balloon cables, but by anti-aircraft guns that somehow exploded their shells at exactly the right moment, every single time. What this officer didn't know was that he was witnessing one of World War II's most closely guarded secrets in action, a technology so revolutionary that America protected it at the same classification level as the Manhattan Project, and the Germans would never figure out what was killing their wonder weapon until it was far too late. This is the story of how American ingenuity turned Hitler's vengeance weapon into a complete failure, using a device so advanced that German scientists declared it physically impossible. Hitler had big plans for his V-1 flying bomb. Launched exactly 1 week after D-Day, this pilotless cruise missile was supposed to bring Britain to its knees. Each V-1 carried 850 kilograms of explosive at 640 kilometers per hour toward London. German calculations showed that even with just a 25% success rate, the V-1 would deliver more destruction than the entire London Blitz. The weapon made tactical sense. At 5,000 Reichsmarks each, a V-1 cost a fraction of what a manned bomber mission required, with zero risk to aircrew. Dr. Robert Lucer, who designed the V-1's guidance system, ran the mathematics. British fighters needed speeds over 650 kilometers per hour just to catch the flying bombs. To destroy one, they had to get within 200 meters, risking death from the explosion. As for anti-aircraft guns, conventional wisdom said forget it. The probability of hitting such a small, fast target was calculated at less than one shell in 10,000. Gunners had maybe 30 seconds from detection to firing. With the V-1's speed and maneuverability, direct hits seemed mathematically impossible. German confidence was backed by solid engineering. They'd developed advanced rockets, operational jet aircraft, and now the world's first cruise missile. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Within days of the first launches, disturbing reports reached German intelligence. British defenses were adapting with suspicious speed. By late June, interception rates climbed from 10% to 24%. Higher than expected but still explainable through improved tactics and training. Then July arrived and the statistics became completely inexplicable. German observers on the French coast reported something that violated every principle of ballistic physics. They watched V-1s flying steadily toward England, suddenly surrounded by flak bursts that seemed to explode too far away for direct hits. Yet somehow, these distant explosions were bringing down the flying bombs. The shells were exploding near the targets, not hitting them directly. This suggested technology that German science insisted could not exist. Unknown to German intelligence, they were witnessing the proximity fuse in action. This revolutionary device had been secretly operational in the Pacific since January 1943. When the USS Helena shot down a Japanese dive bomber with shells that automatically exploded when they sensed the aircraft's proximity. Here's what made the proximity fuse so incredible. Each shell contained a miniature radio transmitter that continuously broadcast signals. When those signals bounced back from a nearby target, circuits inside the shell triggered instant detonation, sending deadly fragments through the target's hull. No direct hit required. The engineering challenges were staggering. These devices had to survive being fired from a gun,
withstanding 20,000 times the force of gravity, spinning at 25,000 revolutions per minute while operating in extreme temperatures. The radio components had to be smaller than hearing aid parts, yet tough enough to work after this punishment. German engineers had actually tried developing similar technology. They researched over 30 different proximity fuse designs throughout the war. Every single attempt failed. They concluded such devices were theoretically impossible. The technical hurdles seemed insurmountable. This assumption would prove catastrophic. By August 1944, American factories were producing 40,000 VT fuses daily. The scale was breathtaking. Over 110 factories contributed components. The Crosley Corporation alone, which had made radios and refrigerators before the war, employed 10,000 workers producing 16,000 fuses every day at peak production.
Meanwhile, German technical officers were going insane trying to explain their V1 losses. Max Wachtel, commanding the entire V1 offensive, suspected sabotage. Emergency inspections found nothing wrong with the missiles. Test firings over German territory showed normal performance. The devastating interception rates only occurred against British defenses. The British had completely reorganized their anti-aircraft system around this secret American technology. They moved their guns from inland positions to the south coast, creating a concentrated kill zone. This coastal positioning served a crucial purpose. Any proximity fuses that failed to detonate would fall harmlessly into the sea, preventing German capture and analysis. As V1s crossed the English coastline, they entered what was essentially a technological death trap. American SCR-584 radar automatically tracked incoming missiles and calculated firing solutions. British guns loaded with VT fuses turned every near miss into a kill. The transformation was dramatic and deadly. Before proximity fuses, destroying a single V1 required an average of 2,500 heavy anti-aircraft shells. With proximity fuses, this number dropped to just 100 shells. The mathematics of warfare had fundamentally changed. German scientists tried everything to counter these mysterious losses. They varied flight altitudes, launched at different times, used larger salvos, exploited weather conditions, attempted night launches. Nothing worked. The kill rates remained devastatingly high. At Peenemünde Research Center, German weapons experts faced an uncomfortable conclusion. If the Allies had developed functional proximity fuses, they had achieved what Germany's best scientists considered impossible. The implications were terrifying. Reports of 82% interception rates created crisis meetings at German headquarters. The numbers simply could not be accurate according to known physics. Yet the evidence was undeniable. Something was systematically destroying Hitler's vengeance weapon with precision that conventional ballistics said shouldn't exist. What the Germans didn't realize was the staggering industrial effort behind each successful interception. America had mobilized its entire electronics industry for proximity fuse production. Sylvania Electric dedicated its complete vacuum tube research division to developing ruggedized components, producing 400,000 miniaturized tubes daily. The contrast was absolute. While Germany handcrafted weapons using forced labor in underground factories, American workers voluntarily worked overtime shifts for premium wages. At Sylvania's facility, over 5,000 women worked 12-hour shifts producing specialized components. They had no idea they were helping save London from Hitler's terror weapons. The secrecy was so complete that even British anti-aircraft crews didn't know what made their ammunition effective. They received special shells with strict accounting requirements. Every proximity-fused shell fired was carefully tracked.
naval vessels patrolled the English Channel specifically to prevent German recovery of unexploded rounds. During the Battle of the Bulge, German forces actually captured an American ammunition dump containing proximity fuses. They never recognized what they had found. Their assumption that such devices were impossible blinded them to evidence literally in their own hands. By September 1944, the V-1 offensive was effectively neutralized. Of 9,521 V-1s launched from ground sites against Britain, only 2,515 reached London. While the casualties were still tragic, 6,184 killed and 17,981 injured, these numbers represented a fraction of German intentions. General Frederick Pyle, commanding British anti-aircraft defenses, calculated that without proximity fuses, V-1 casualties would have been 4 to 5 times higher. The technology had quite literally saved London from devastation. Germany's response was desperate. They shifted to night launches and accelerated development of the V-2 rocket, which flew too fast for any interception. But these measures couldn't achieve the strategic impact Hitler had demanded. The V-1 became a costly failure, consuming resources desperately needed on collapsing fronts. The proximity fuse represented something profound about industrial warfare. Victory came not through individual weapon superiority, but through mass production of advanced technology at unprecedented scale. Monthly American proximity fuse production exceeded total German V-1 production for the entire war. Quality control was remarkable. Every fuse underwent multiple tests before shipping. Random samples were actually fired in test guns to verify performance. Rejection rates stayed below 2%, demonstrating extraordinary manufacturing precision at massive scale. After Germany's surrender, Allied interrogations revealed complete German ignorance about proximity fuses. Max Bochdal told officers they had suspected improved radar or faster-setting conventional fuses, but never imagined self-detonating shells. When German scientists were shown captured American VT fuses, they expressed total disbelief. The proximity fuse remained classified until September 1945. The War Department's announcement called it one of the most important weapons developed during the war, surpassed in effectiveness only by the atomic bomb. For German scientists who had puzzled over V-1 failures, this revelation brought understanding and humiliation. They had been defeated not by superior strategy or exceptional courage, but by industrial capacity they hadn't imagined possible. Learning that mass-produced electronics costing less than $20 each had systematically destroyed their advanced weapons was devastating. The technology that saved London represented democracy's triumph over totalitarian engineering. While Germany pursued exotic wonder weapons requiring specialized expertise and forced labor, America focused on technologies that enhanced existing systems through mass production. On that extraordinary day in late August 1944, when proximity fuses destroyed 82% of incoming V-1s, the nature of warfare changed forever. The Germans launching their vengeance weapons never discovered what invisible technology was defeating them. They had done everything right by their understanding, yet were systematically destroyed by mass-produced electronics they couldn't conceive. The proximity fuse proved that in modern warfare, producing good technology by the millions matters more than crafting perfect weapons in small numbers. Germany created brilliant individual weapons. America created effective weapons by the millions. And in that fundamental difference lay the outcome of the war itself.